Hey guys, what's up? Unrested here, back with another Unrestology, a show I haven't done for a good 3 weeks, I think, at this point, maybe even longer. That's sad. I'm sorry about that if you're a big fan of the Unrestology series. I know I am. I really enjoy just speaking my mind. It is a show where I say anything and talk about anything I want. I do not have to talk about Japanese stuff. Nonetheless, Japanese stuff always does kind of drop into it because, well, I live in Japan. It has to. Today, I'm going to talk about, I guess, the whole state of YouTube, which is kind of a sort of nebulous, vague, gigantic, overwhelming subject to talk about. I'm just going to ramble, and I don't have any clue where this video is going to go. I'm merely going to get out some of the thoughts that I have in my head about the whole, I guess, state of YouTube as far as fair use, as far as people shouting at each other over drama recently, and I guess just like my own thoughts of like how I feel about my own channel, about a new channel I just started where I'm going to try and make it completely only for horror, because as I find my horror stuff on this channel does very poorly and does not allow me to be grouped with the other horror creators, the other horror content creators, which that is not their fault at all. That is completely, I guess, kind of not anybody's fault. It's more just the way things are kind of grouped on YouTube. I think one other thing I'd like to talk about a little bit today too is my own kind of philosophy as far as tribalism is concerned. And tribalism has like a bunch of different meanings. It means people staying within certain tribes, not just in everyday life, and I don't just mean like ancient tribes or like modern day ancient tribes. I'm talking about just people grouping themselves by their own likes, dislikes, political beliefs, religious beliefs, etc., etc. Anyway, enough pre-explanation. Let's just actually get into the video. So recently, as I'm sure many of you who follow anything on YouTube know, there's been a lot of uproar over the many fair use attacks that have happened on multiple channels, everything from the Nostalgia Critic, there's I Hate Everything. There's so many different ones that have had copyright strikes slapped against them. I myself, even last year, got a copyright strike, even though I followed the guidelines of fair use, which is if you take a video and you split it up, chop it up, do a commentary on it, and kind of recreate it in your own form. In my case, I actually took the video and green screened my entire self in front of it, then chopped it up, stopped it, and talked about the different parts of it on whether or not the stuff listed in the video was actually really stuff that existed in Japan. And I received a copyright strike for that because the biggest problem with YouTube is with copyright strikes on YouTube. I don't know if this is how it works in general with every media. You can just have it filed against you with no reasoning as to why. Like pretty much they can make up a reason that's not legit. For example, I remember the reason that it was filed against me was that I had used the logo of the company in my video when the video itself was not an actual company. It was just the logo of the YouTube channel, which was part of a business, a production business, but the only logo that is actually shown, which was the title of the video, is not the name of the business. And there was no business logo listed anywhere in the video. I went back and watched it again. I had it saved on my computer still, even though it was taken down from YouTube. And yeah, there was nothing in there. There was no logos, there was no trademarks, there was no brand names even in there. I guess you could count the Japanese brand names that they were talking about existed in Japan, but they themselves did not file the copyright strike against me. It was the company that, well, the YouTube creator that did. And specifically in this instance, it wasn't the entire company itself. It was actually the one member of that company that filed it because pretty much they didn't like to be called out on the fact that they hadn't really done any research on the stuff that they had made. And eventually I pretty much filed a counterclaim, but during that whole time I lose any monetization I have from it. They steal all your monetization, and I do mean steal because if afterwards it's proven to be false and it's not a correctly filed copyright, then they still get to keep the money. So they've pretty much stolen it by abusing the system. In my eyes, in my idea, maybe you want to differ with me on how you feel about that. I feel like that's straight up stealing. But it's happening a lot of other places too. And pretty much what the biggest problem is, if you don't already have a YouTube channel or you don't know the logistics of how the whole YouTube thing works, you're probably wondering, like, why don't you just contact YouTube? Why don't you write them a letter or tell them, like, what's going on? Well, that's all fine and dandy. That's a great idea if someone actually answered or there was a way to get in contact with people who worked for YouTube. Luckily for me, I had a friend who worked for Google and had friends in the legal department of YouTube who he could then expedite my, I guess, my counterclaim against. And I mean, that really helped it out. I mean, big shout out. I can say his first name, I imagine. Sebastian, thank you so much for sticking up for me, keeping my channel clean and clear and monetized once again. But during that time, so many things affect your channel. You can't do live streaming. You can't monetize your videos. You're back down to only making 15-minute videos. And all that is going to continue until you either file a counterclaim or the strike is lifted, which takes 6 months if you don't file a counterclaim. So for over half a year, you'll have it where you can't be making money. You can't make a video over 15 minutes, which is insane. I mean, I'm already at 6 minutes on this video that I'm making right now. UNRESTOLOGY tends to be very long, so that would just completely eliminate that series. It's very frustrating, and as I'm sure if you've followed any of these hashtag WTF, where's the Fair Use Act, files or comments or Twitter feeds that a lot of these different channels are getting behind right now, you are starting to hear more and more stories of how people are abusing the system. It's even to a point on YouTube where people who are not the content creators of videos will file to have your video struck down via DMCA and receive the profit from that video during that time, and they are not the creator. There's a company in India that is currently working to do this over and over again to make profit off of everybody's different videos, and during the time that it takes you to file the counterclaim, they continue to make profit, and then once they've stopped making profit or you've filed the counterclaim and it goes through, they then delete the video from their own page and they no longer worry about getting the money from your video. But by that time it's run its course and you've lost all the views that you would normally get in the first 48 hours that you upload a video, which for almost every content creator out there is the hottest time to receive views, when you first get the video out there. So it's really frustrating. And I mean, like, with that situation, you can't even be mad at another channel or company or creator of that content for filing a false copyright claim. It's a company that has nothing to do with any of that. It's just a company trying to steal your money. And that's like their job, I guess. That's what they do. And they're not really held to any kind of specs or rules or laws that prevent them from doing that, because the YouTube copyright strike system is so effed up. And that's kind of sad. I mean, it makes you kind of scared to make your own original content. It was a thing that got me pretty depressed back in 2015. I mean, I had worked really hard on the video, and then I just lost it completely, and my channel had been reduced to a 15-minute, like, non-partnered channel for, you know, a whole 10 days. During that time, making zero profit and unable to stream. The other thing we've got going on right now is kind of this, like, firing back and forth of different YouTube channels about drama. Some people are mad at Keemstar, some people are mad at PewDiePie, some people are mad at Leafy is here, some people are mad at H3H3. It's a big debacle as far as people blaming other people for talking trash. And it's just, I don't know, it's kind of a hard thing to really put a finger on as to what side people should take with it, because right away I'm not any bit for cyberbullying. Of course I feel like it's wrong. Of course I don't feel like you should make channels where you just randomly pick people out on the internet to be like, look at this loser. On the other hand, I don't like to choose any kind of content that I think I don't agree with that should be taken down. So if I'm saying like, oh, this guy's making a whole channel about how he hates so and so show or whatever that I really like, it should be taken down. Or a lot of people recently talked a lot of hate about reaction channels. I don't like reaction channels because they just play other people's videos and watch them and react to them, and they get all the money taken away, which really they don't, because if the other content creator makes a claim on it, they can make that money and still have the video up. And if they want content, if that is their big pull, like a lot of these reaction channels say, then they can still have their content up and still be giving the profit to the creator of the video, especially in things when it comes to like animation, drawings are very hard to make videos, which I really think they should do. Let them have the profit. If you want the views, that's fine. You'll have other videos to make profit from that are your own original content. So people are attacking those as well. They're saying, you know, reaction channels are BS. They're just using other videos. But the thing I always worry about when you say, let's eliminate this type of video, or let's eliminate a person like Leafy, or let's, you know, eliminate a person like Keemstar who does drama, then what's next? You know, what comes next? What's the next channel that gets eliminated? Because if we say there are certain type of channels we need to rip down that they don't necessarily follow under the guidelines for YouTube, such as you can't show nudity, you can't show like obscene violence, like gore and guts and everything, which I can understand. YouTube tries to keep it, you know, so that a huge amount of age ranges can see these videos. They don't fall under those at all. You know, they're not showing porn, they're not showing violence, they're not showing gory pictures. So they're actually technically following within the rights of the YouTube channel. And if they're doing that, if we attack those channels and say they need to be taken down, what's next? What's next? Is the next thing like political view channels? Like if my political view is too strong or opposes yours, or even things like feminism or anti-feminism or MGTOW or just anything. What comes next? What is the next thing somebody points the finger out and says, I want to take this down too? And does YouTube follow through with it? That's where I get worried, because I don't like to see people censored, even if I don't agree with anything they're saying or doing. Aside from things like, again, you know, showing nudity, as I know even my own little kids watch YouTube. I prefer that there's not porn thrown up on there mixed in. And I guess, you know, of course, blatant racism. You know, there's no way to defend that. That's awful. Let's not do that, please. And I'm sure there's some other, you know, I'm sure there's other things I'm not thinking of right now. Like, I don't know, if someone uploaded a video of them beating their wife or something, yeah, I'd prefer that you don't put that on YouTube. There's no way, there's certain things we should not honor at all, of course, you know. But at the same time, people should be allowed to have their own political views put up there. For example, recently in one of my videos, the Hanami video, there was a point where my friend Lex shouted out that he didn't like Donald Trump, and people jumped all over me for that. And I'm just, look, you know, people are allowed to shout their own political views out in the middle of a video. I'm not going to tell people to censor themselves when I'm recording them. And at the same time, I always try to press the fact that I myself am not a political channel. I'm not pushing for any sort of political, I guess, agenda. My honest opinion of all politics and all politicians is it's mostly just a bunch of bullshit lies. I'm not a Sanders fan, I'm not a Hillary fan, I'm not a Trump fan. They're all liars. If they're politicians and their lips move, they are lying. You know, I would love to be proven wrong. I would love to see somebody get elected, or here in Japan, which, trust me, here in Japan it's just the same. All politicians are liars. I would love to see someone honorable come forward and follow through with every damn little thing they say. Now, mind you, I realize there's red tape behind everything they do, and hence sometimes Congress itself is the thing shutting down or vetoing what these people are trying to do. But I just, sorry, I'm jaded. I'm completely jaded when it comes to politics. I don't believe any of it anymore. There was a time when I was very passionate about being, you know, I'm a democratic liberal and stuff like that. No. Democrats are just as much as liars as Republicans, and everything in between is liars too. Liars. It seems like psychopaths and, you know, people who want to watch the world burn are the only people that get elected these days, or have the gall to cut throat to the top and get elected. So that's how I feel about that. But at the same time, once again, I don't feel like anybody should be censored on talking about that. We're also kind of reaching a point where I feel like I've had to put a million disclaimers in videos at this point, and that's annoying too. Like, if I want to say something and be sarcastic, or I want to say something and use it in my video that isn't overly offensive, I'm not outright using like the N word or something like that. For example, one new one that I've been told to not say anymore is saying the word retard. Um, a lot of people are like, you shouldn't talk bad about mentally or physically challenged people, but the fact is, retard has more than one meaning. You can retard something, or make something retarded, or flame retarded, or unable to proceed with progress. And if I'd have to stop each time and be like, now look, when I just said that word retard, disclaimer, I actually mean the part not connected to the physically or mentally challenged, but more so the part connected to retarding the progress of something. That's ridiculous that I would have to actually do that, so I've just eliminated it. And I feel like there's points where people are trying to be too PC on YouTube. There's also parts where I'm starting to notice as YouTube gets bigger, I think it's kind of like in its teen years now, we're having this huge conflict of tribalism. And tribalism is something I'm actually very much for. The way a country or people act, if it's within humane ways, should be untouched. It shouldn't be changed. It shouldn't be globalized. It shouldn't be made Western. Um, so many people come to Japan and I see them already try to do that, and it angers me. And then probably there's even parts where I'm guilty of that too. And I shouldn't be. It makes me a hypocrite. But there's tribalism all throughout the world. People grow up with different beliefs, feelings, political, religious views, and all this different stuff. And on the internet, we're trying to melt all those together, and we're angry when they don't agree, which is just goddamn ridiculous. There is the simple notion of don't like it, don't watch it. I had a viewer the other day um, talk about one video they just didn't like. Oh, it was called The Dark Side. It's one of my Dark Side of Japan videos. I remember this now. It was one of my Dark Side of Japan videos, and it talked about, I believe, overwork in Japan, death by overwork, karoshi. And they're like, you don't need to post stuff like this. People already know all of this. I've been 6 years here in Japan, and I already know about all of this. And, this is just making Japan look negative, and you should be more positive. And it's just like, first of all, number one, you've obviously only watched one video, because I've got 830 videos, I think, at this point, and I'd say probably about 99.9% of them are pretty damn positive, extolling the many wonderful aspects of Japan. And this person, this simple thing I said to him, I didn't get up in their face, I didn't say, shut up, I'm awesome, my channel rocks. I just simply said, that's great, but it's called JFAC, and if you've already lived here in Japan for 6 years, JFAC's probably not for you, because it's Japan's frequently asked questions, and usually people living in Japan aren't constantly asking the most basic questions about it, such as what are like social problems. And he replied with, no, I felt like because you made it public, I was invited to watch it, hence I watched it. And it's like, well then, according to that, every day you're invited by YouTube to watch millions and millions of videos. No, that's not how it works. You're giving a menu, you choose, it is an option, you have the option to simply not watch the video. I'm all up for criticism of my videos, but the only kind I'm going to respect is constructive criticism. Just saying, shut up, noob faggot, doesn't really add anything to the video. I had one viewer recently who was just out to attack everybody who posted anything on any comment on my channel, and told me that I'm stupid for living in a country of chinks. Well, which, first of all, chinks is the completely wrong bigotry. That's actually a slur for Chinese people, so you've not even got the continent right. And it's just like, how much disclaimers do I have to put so that I can make everybody happy? I can't do that. And that's something I feel like across the board we should come to understand on YouTube. YouTube is a giant menu of things to watch. If you go to a restaurant, do you order every single thing on the menu and eat all of it? No, you don't, or you would get sick and throw up. Well, the same thing can happen with YouTube. And that's why I wonder why so many people attack these different types of videos. Now, with the whole Leafy thing, I don't know if you guys know about this. There's a YouTuber named Leafy is here. He does a channel that kind of just looks for sort of cringeworthy videos. And recently, he was called out because one of these people that he said was so cringy was actually an autistic man. And then recently, another one that he just tried to make fun of his channel was a guy who had dealt with a huge amount of bullying in the past because he was overweight and he felt like he had gotten past that barrier by losing a large amount of weight and living a healthy lifestyle, but now he has to contend with Leafy's followers and his channel. Those are kind of a gray area. I just feel like there are certain things out there that are cringy. It's funny to, check them out. But I feel like if you are going to get into that realm of calling people out or calling out cringeworthy or even drama worthy or even I don't know if like things like drama alert and things like that, pedophilia, fights between different YouTubers, you should vet the information. And by vet, I mean you should research it fully and know what you're getting into. Um, if you want to attack an autistic person or you want to attack somebody who dealt with a large amount of bullying in the past, um, you know, you really need to question what's your motive for that. Why are you doing that? And if you want to go ahead and say, "Oh, but sorry, I just didn't research and I didn't know that's who I was attacking." Well, then that's on you. You didn't vet your information. If you're saying, "I would never attack a person had I known this," well, then you should have known that. You should have vetted the information. You should have checked it out. I do realize there are some channels out there that are just absolutely hilarious to watch people make cringy stuff through. Um, Weeaboo cringes and all different types stuff like that. I'll watch it too. I'll laugh too. I'll have a good chuckle. Will I go there and make nasty comments? No, I don't think that's really called for. I think half the blame needs to be placed on Leafy's followers, not Leafy himself, because they're the ones really like starting the fire. He's bringing it to their attention and I guess kind of pointing the army in a direction, but it's really up to them at the end of the day should they decide to attack. As far as Keemstar is concerned, I've always really liked his channel. He recently did a very funny parody about how before he started his channel, drama never existed on YouTube, fights never existed on YouTube, there was no controversy on YouTube, and there was no infighting, which is obviously complete satire and sarcasm, as it existed long before his channel ever did exist. And it's funny because some of the same people I would see seek these different things out and find these things to get angry about or take sides on are now yelling at Keemstar for making a whole channel based around that. And it's just like, cast the first stone, ye who has not gotten into gossip before. Have you ever had some gossip at work, school, any family related stuff? Well, if the answer is yes, then why are you pointing and blaming and casting the first stone? You too are just as guilty. All right? Um, Now, of course, Keemstar has made mistakes in the past too. For example, the one man that he called out who was 60 years old, and again, he hadn't had the information, not he himself, but his researcher at the time had not had the information properly vetted. He took the time to actually stop and say, look, we fucked up, we screwed up, it wasn't vetted, we should have done a better job of researching this. Um, so I think he has more of a realistic view of like how it can go wrong, and when it does, that you need to be humble. As long as people have that kind of down to earth view of what they're doing, I don't see a big problem with it. As long as reaction channels realize that some people are going to be upset with the fact that they're using their stuff to react to and comment on, and that some people are saying, hey, this is the original stuff, then I don't see a problem with that. Where I see a problem is people who are trying to be YouTube police. Other channels trying to be YouTube police. Other channels trying to be, I guess, JSWs, these people who try to think where they want to see everything be put in place and the rules that they would like assigned to YouTube and different videos follow through across the board and be streamlined. It just doesn't work that way. And again, this is tribalism. And tribalism is something, like I said, I'm a very strong believer in. I feel like whatever your tribe is, however you grew up, as long as it's not a negative effect on humanity in general, should be left alone. Someone telling someone else how they should live and run their life is just quite frankly narrow-minded. there are countries where women do want to be housewives. There are countries where women want to be the dominant, and the man wants to be more of the house husband. Why should we tell these people that this is wrong? Does it negatively affect you in any personal way? Some people might say, oh yeah, it holds women back or it holds men back from getting a career level. But if they don't want a career level, if they want to be the housewife or the house husband, then how's it hold them back? That's what they want their career to be. That is a job. Staying at home, taking care of everything, that is a job. So that's kind of the things that have been running through my mind recently with all these different, I guess, drama things, infighting things, Mark Plyer shouting out that he wants to see YouTube be nicer to each other. I feel like he's really balanced with his opinion on this. No offense to PewDiePie, I think he makes great content. I think he's very smart, very intelligent, and very business-minded when it comes to what he puts out. But I'm really surprised to see him jump into the fray when it comes to this drama stuff. I would have personally thought he was above all that. Like, he's above and beyond getting into any of this. He's yelling at KSI recently. He's in a fight with other YouTubers, all this different stuff, and making comments back and forth on Twitter. Who am I to judge? I've done those same things in the past, but I'm a nobody. Guys, I am still, trying to reach 35,000 after 6 years of doing this. And I'm very small. And I guess that's one kind of thing I want to end on really with this video. One of the hardest things about YouTube, and one of the things I really don't like, is the fact that even if the content you've made has been your own type of genre for a while, and you started it way before anybody else, you're pushed to the back due to the way YouTube advertises their stuff. For example, if Smosh goes to Japan and they visit all this different stuff, when you look up videos that are like, how Japan works, tours of Japan, different businesses in Japan, blah, blah, blah about Japan, their video is going to come up way before any single J-vlogger. And I'm not just saying, oh, me, why doesn't everybody come watch me? I'm talking like June and Rachel, who have 300,000. I think maybe they have 500,000 at this point. They're huge now. Kayla, Give Me a Break Man. They're all massive channels compared to mine. And even they are pushed back to like page number 7 when you go searching for actual stuff about Japan, because the first videos that YouTube wants to advertise are the ones with the most views. That kind of sucks. I realize they're a business. They have every right to be a business and make money however they see fit. But I feel like that's unfair to you as the viewer if you really want to get legit information. I myself, I make a few bucks here and there. I've collected all my YouTube money 2 times in the entire, when I say 6 years, I've been actually making videos 9 years. I guess 6 years I've been doing actually JFAC and everything. I didn't come out with the series until people actually asked me questions about Japan and spurred me on. You guys made the series, not me. And I guess that's another frustrating aspect I see, and it's why we will always be small as J-vloggers. To give you an idea of how small you end up staying as a J-vlogger, I am the biggest and most watched Gaikokujin channel in all of Osaka, and I am 35,000 subscribers, sorry. That's really small. I honestly would like to see more competition. I would love if someone blew me out of the water with 100K subscribers, and I could either collab with them, ride on their coattails, or look up to them as a senpai on how to make content that more people want to watch here in Osaka. But I don't have a person like that. Yes, there's Japanese YouTubers in Osaka that have way bigger channels than me, but they really have nothing to do with the same kind of stuff I make. A lot of it's like cell phone game apps, which again, I have no problem with any of these kind of channels. I'm never going to create anything like that, so it's not really anything I can take anything back from, get any feedback from. I'm not going to make a channel without, cell phone games. That's just not my thing. But what is my thing is horror, and I feel really bad. I've lost the inspiration on my own channel to make the horror series. Hence, I've had to start a new channel. It's called Horror Kingdom. I'm gonna try. I've been working on these videos for ages. Even now, I'm looking up at the screen. I had one video I worked all week on, and then it just totally deleted the video. The program crashed. I lost all my information. I have to start from scratch, and quite frankly, that's it's tiring. It's tiring. On top of it, I'm actually writing scripts for all these, handwriting them because I prefer handwriting. I like to be able to look down at a notepad when I read. And I've got like a bunch of Osoroshi Saturday stuff coming your way on that channel, but I'm gonna have to change the name because over time I've found out Osoroshi just doesn't sell very well on YouTube. And I know you say, sell, Scott, what are you trying to do? You want to make money? That's the first thing. No, but I actually do want people to view all my videos. And I would like to get bigger amounts of subscribers and viewers watching these horror videos because I put more work into them than I do JFAC. And Osoroshi is just, it's hard, it's difficult. I like the word, I like what it means, I like its scary sound, I like how it flows nicely with the word Saturday, but even big fans of the series have trouble repeating the word back to me. They're like, I really like the Oshiro Saturday. It's not their fault, man. It's my fault for choosing such a difficult Japanese word. I can't expect the world to know these words. I can't expect the world to speak Japanese. Because again, tribalism, everybody's their own tribe. But I am going to be coming back. I'm actually splitting that channel up into a little bit of everything. I'm keeping Japanese creepypasta, Japanese urban legends, urban exploration, and a show I still really haven't ironed out a good name to yet. I've worked with calling it Japan Noir or the J-Files. I don't know yet. For a show that's just on true life creepy stories from Japan or urban legends that have a realistic background. For example, many people don't know that Kuchisake Onna actually comes from Edo era, and it followed all the way up into modern day urban legends. But there was actually an incident up in what was it? I forget which prefecture right now off the top of my head, but a woman who was chasing children, as Kuchisake Onna is known to do, the split-mouthed woman with her face cut wide open. This woman was actually doing this. She was actually chasing after them, and during that time she was hit by a car, and her face was split in the same manner, and the person doing the autopsy, instead of putting down a Jane Doe because they didn't know the name of the woman at the time, she was this homeless woman, they put down Kuchisake Onna, and the legend became born anew. People really thought this had actually, spawned into a real life horror. And that's amazing to me. I love to tell stuff like that, but it gets lost on my channel right now. And that's another thing you should realize if you ever do start a channel. Find your niche and love that niche. I love Japan. I love making videos about it, but I hate the fact that now I'm having to split into another channel and do twice the work so that more viewers can see this horror stuff. I don't know. Do I wish I had started horror from the beginning? Maybe not, because it's not as popular, I guess, as more calm, sort of serene Japanese things. But I don't know. I'm always in a constant conflict internally. Anyway, guys, I guess I'm going to end it there. Kind of a ramble going off in all different rants and stuff today. A forking path of diatribe. I enjoy every bit of your comments that you do send me that tell me what you want to hear about. Great feedback on the Unrest Watch series, which I need to get back into trying to find the time to watch these movies to review. I just actually finished watching Erased, or what is it? What's the Japanese title? It's like Boku wa inai no machi. I've got that a little bit wrong, but it pretty much translates to the town in which I am not there. And that series is, whew, that is an emotional series. Holy cow, my guys. That's a great series, though. I'm going to do a review on it soon. So look for that, too. Look for my new horror stuff, and I will continue Unrestology as well here. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Another long video for you who love the long videos. Also, I hope you like my new setup. Yes, yes, very, very creative. No, yes, no. I need to take this plastic off. I still have a plastic covering here. And perhaps I'll be ready to finally get that channel launched. Until next time, I am Unrested, and this is Unrestology. Have a good one.